An important update at one of the town's marinas, then food festivals and a change for a junk dealer as we cover today's licensing authority hearing on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Monday, June 4th, 2012. I'm Sarah Colvin. We begin with an important weather update. The National Weather Service has extended the coastal flood warning for Massachusetts until tomorrow morning. Due to the northeast storm and astronomical high tides predicted for today through Wednesday, the floats at Blish Point State Ramp in Barnstable Harbor have been removed. The parking area will remain open, but caution should be used. The Millway Ramp is open and available for launching and hauling. The Long Table event will take place later this month in Hyannis. Hyannis Main Street Business Improvement District Executive Director Elizabeth Werfbane was again before the licensing authority this morning.
Well, I have recently had a meeting with people at regulatory, and Mr. Geiler was present, where many of the questions were addressed. So I feel that we're in a good place right now.
I see the Beech Tree is represented.
Yes, Jared Payne is here. He's one of the managers at the Beech Tree.
So they're going to extend their license, and they're going to be responsible for the affair.
Yes.
Director of Regulatory Services Tom Geiler had some words of warning for Werfbane.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just remind you, this is really a unique event, and to the credit of the bid and a lot of others on trying to make this work, there's been an awful lot of effort that's gone in. But it's not time to stop paying attention at this particular point. I think what's most important is that any liquor coming in and liquor going to be served there has to be invoiced to your restaurant. Any other restaurant or wholesaler can donate alcohol, but they've got to invoice it to yours. You can't have another restaurant walking down the street and bringing their alcohol to that event. That's not going to fly. You know.
Next up, a request from the Zion Union Church for its first annual Ethnic Food Festival.
Well, we're coming here today to get permission to have our first annual food festival, ethnic food festival, where we will be serving a whole pig, rotating and cooking at the same time, all different types of ethnic food, from Jamaican jerk food, Haitian food, Brazilian and Cape Verdean, and all other different types of food to be served. And one thing, we're not seeking a beer and wine license. We just want people to eat well, not to drink well. We don't want them stumbling off the parking lot, but we just hope and pray that you will allow us to have this first time, hopefully continue to do this year after year for this annual food festival.
That application was approved, and if you're not hungry yet, you will be soon. The 30th Annual Grecian Festival coming up in July. Folks from the St. George Greek Orthodox Church were before the board this morning for permits for that festival.
This is our 30th year, and I, in behalf of Cronus Kalivas, but which I thought he would be here, he's not. So I'm here on behalf of his, and so this is our 30th year, and pretty much, I think you people know all about it. Don't know what else I can add to it. It's basically the same as always.
And the police department's going to have a detail, and the parking's going to run smooth as always.
Yes.
The neighbors are not going to complain.
We lost one space. We used to rent space from Mr.
I know what you're talking about. I'll cover for you.
But they're building. Mealy, that's it. And they're building over there now. So we lost that space. I'm hoping that maybe we can go over to the Knights of Columbus section.
That application was also approved. The board then moved on to a request from Ferrera Recycling to change its name.
Chairman, members of the board, my name is James Connors. I represent Mr. Ferrera in the transfer of his license. If the board may recall, he was granted a new license under his doing business as at the last meeting. All the corporate formalities have been followed, so at this point he would like to transfer his current license into the corporation. No changes to the application, no changes to the requirements under the licensing.
And the town attorney has no objections to this.
There are no objections. The other matter that had been filed in Superior Court has been resolved as well, and it reflects the corporation.
Okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Scally?
there is a notation from Mr. Houghton from the Law Department in terms of wording that they would like to see added to as a condition on our license. I don't know if you have it in front of you, but basically it states that per the judgment in the court case, that they would like to see as a restriction in quotations, at no time can any materials containing hazardous fluids be brought onto the site for recycling, repair, or dismantling.
That request was not without controversy. Hyannis Water Board Chair Deb Crow had some concern about the business.
And I am very much requesting that this time the criteria that are in this license be enforced. In December '09, the site plan review for this particular property stated that recycling bins and related equipment are to be utilized and stored within the existing building as proposed. And at no time can any hazardous or fluid-containing materials be brought onto the site for recycling, repair, or dismantling. And at no time can vehicles involved in accidents be towed to or stored at the site. This was built into the license, which was issued in January 2010, and I assume it's been put into the current license, although I was very surprised to hear the recent amendment which put in what the original site plan review already had. On 12/10, at a meeting of this board, the license was suspended because there was all kinds of outside storage and all kinds of vehicles. It was determined, however, that that 5-day suspension would be put in abeyance for a year, pending no other issues. There were issues, but I guess nobody looked. And finally, in January 12, just a little 1 month beyond the year, there was an explosion on the property that the fire department had to go to because there was fluids in a car that was being dismantled. All of those instances, I believe, are not consistent with the license. As you know, this particular property is very near the Hyannis water system, the Mahar wells, which provide 25% of the water used in Hyannis. It's a huge risk. The license criteria seem to protect the water system, but it's not being enforced. And so I'm here on behalf of the Hyannis Water Board requesting that you pay particular attention in enforcing the criteria that you, at the request of site plan review, have put into the license.
Attorney David Houghton spoke.
Agreement as it's been, I would concur with the descriptions that have been given to you of the, it's an agreement for judgment. It has been filed with the court. It is enforceable by contempt proceedings in Superior Court. So I would agree with the descriptions that have been provided to you by previous speakers.
The board voted to approve the change with conditions.
The judgment on file, including the corporation, the language is slightly different in the judgment. It states that the restriction is, at no time can any materials containing hazardous fluids be brought onto site for recycling, repair, or dismantling. If the license is transferred to the corporation, that's what the restriction should say. And that's...
And that would be in addition to the current conditions that are already on the license as well.
Yes.
The licensing authority met at 9:30 this morning at Barnstable Town Hall. You can view the meeting in its entirety online at town.barnstable.ma.us. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.